I can still picture it. Like, there's a picture in my mind where I'm holding on to my baby and I'm just like floating around. That's exactly how I felt. Like, I was just holding on to him, making sure I had him, but I didn't know where I was. I was just floating, and it was scary. It was sad. Sometimes it just catches me by surprise because it's just a title I never thought I'd wear. Being a single mom was definitely not in the plan. I remember even when I was pregnant, I started visualizing just, how his first Christmas is his first birthday, just all these milestones and different things, how they would be. And I didn't think it would be like this. I don't think I felt like I mattered. It was always about, well, what does everybody else need? How can I help everybody else? And I always just put myself last. Like, my needs, they're minor, we can take care of that later, but later never came. The only thing I saw as a possibility was maybe moving back with my mom so that she could take care of my child and I could work and just remain in that cycle of working and not earning enough. If you can't afford childcare, then what do? So then you end up staying stuck in a cycle that you can't get out of.
Austin is probably one of the top 2 or 3 labor markets in the entire country. It's a tale of two cities. So you've got a lot of people who are caught up in the growth, who are making great incomes, and they get to really enjoy all the advantages of growth. But then you've got a whole nother segment of the population that's not really experiencing that at all. These are the people who we could bring in to really create pathways through the education system and into what are called these middle skilled jobs that can offer those families a family supporting wage. So if we were to look back in Austin about a decade ago, you have really strong providers, you have strong systems. These were maybe not as well coordinated as they might have been in terms of also making sure that the children of those participants got services.
If everything is together in one place and there's just one system to navigate, it makes it so much easier on parents who have so much going on already and who are trying to take care of their kids while also pursuing their own goals. With 2Gen, it's really about a culture change with how we think about social services. It's about thinking about the whole family and bringing everything together at the same place and same time to make it easier on families, with the understanding that an investment in one generation is an investment in the other.
Sounds good. Love you.
If you can raise the parents' income while the kids are very young, 2, 3 years old, that leads to higher incomes, better educational outcomes for those kids later on as well.
I think the 2Gen approach allows us to sort of see this in the immediate sense, which is that if we invest in these children and getting them childcare, mom or dad can go to school and get a better paying job and put food on the table and pay taxes and so on. And from a 2Gen lens, if we invest in that kid's gonna have higher educational outcomes in the long term, and we will hopefully have broken a cycle of poverty, one family at a time.
A few years from now, we can break that cycle. We can move on. None of that would have been possible if we weren't here. I would have had a much more limited set of options, and in turn that would end up limiting my child's future as well. I'm Antonio's mom, and Antonio's mom is very important because Antonio's very important. I want him to reach his full potential, but for him to do that, I need to do that. I really need to focus on myself so that I can be a good role model for him.
Success is often modeled. It is important that the kids see their parents sacrificing, striving, working hard, because it sets a model for what they should expect for themselves.
We can have success stories like mine, like my parents. We can continue to have those kinds of success stories when we realize that it is programs like 2Gen that provide, these amazing services and the support for families. Seeing my father go to those community college classes and seeing him talk about why it was important to get an education is what inspired me to. Had I not had the parents that I had, I would not be a city council member. I would not have gone to law school. I would not have had the ambition or the drive or the courage to accomplish anything that I've had.
You want one too, Mateo? He has strength because he comes from strength. I want him to see my strength. I want him to know that Mom kept fighting regardless of what came at her. And Mom kept smiling, and Mom kept believing that the world was good. And in times of hardship, I want him to think back on that, and I want him to be able to find that and hold on to it and persevere.